Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Today, I want to talk about something that's reshaping our entire society right now, which is AI. We have tools like ChatGPT, which alone has nearly 900 million weekly active users. We also have Anthropic that just struck a massive compute partnership with SpaceX. We also have Perplexity and Grok and dozens of powerful AI tools that are absolutely taking the world by a storm. Every industry is being disrupted. And how does the general public feel about this? Well, let's take a look.
The architects of artificial intelligence. Interesting.
The graduates hate AI. Let's first go to the University of Central Florida, where they made their thoughts to this speaker crystal clear.
The rise of artificial intelligence is the next industrial revolution. Oh, whoa. What happened? Okay, I struck a chord. May I finish? Only a few years ago, AI was not a factor in our lives. Okay, and now AI capabilities are in the palm of our hands. And oh, I love it. Passion, let's go. Okay.
Now let's head over to the University of Arizona, where, hold on a minute, is that the dreaded white power sign? Just kidding, we're not CNN. Anyway, let's hear the reaction to this ex-Google CEO.
Time magazine selected its Person of the Year for 2025. And this time, it was the architects of artificial intelligence. Interesting. So today we stand on this edge. I know what many of you are feeling about that. I can hear you. There is a fear. There is a fear in your generation that the future has already been written. The question is not whether AI will shape the world. It will. The question is whether you will help shape artificial intelligence. We do not know the precise contours of what this transformation will look like.
And finally, Mid-Tennessee State University.
Now, with AI, this is admittedly a much bigger genie, and it ain't getting back in the bottle. AI is rewriting production as we sit here. I know it. Deal with it. Like I said, it's a tool. Hey, like I said, you can hear me now or you can pay me later. Hey, then do something about it, okay? It's a tool. Make it work for you.
All right. So, obviously, as you can see, college graduates from 2026 are literally booing speakers who are talking about AI being the future. Not clapping, not cheering, booing. Why? Because a lot of young people are generally scared that AI is going to replace them before they even get their first job. So, and that, honestly, that might be more justified than a lot of experts would admit. There's another clip that I want to show you. And let's take a look at this. This one is an interesting one.
A new study asking both college undergrads and employers if they thought that college was equipping these students with the skills needed to be competent employees after graduation. Found 93% of college undergrads are confident about their job preparedness, but only about half of employers agreed, with only 54% believing that college produces competent grads. CEO of Rusk Industries, Ken Rusk, joins me now. And Ken, to me, this really isn't on the 22-year-old who has no frame of reference because all they've really done in life is go to school. This is really on the administrators and the professors who have been in the working world for some time, know what it takes, and still are not preparing these kids. What say you, Ken?
Well, good morning, Todd. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. You know, one of the things that's interesting is about how these colleges have really gotten into teaching so much theory and not enough actual practice. I mean, you know, even like when you go to med school, eventually, if you're a surgeon, you have to hold a knife in your hand and get some real world experience. And I think that's what's happening. Clearly, people are coming out of these colleges in a book smart way, but not necessarily a street smart way. And I think that's part of the problem we have today.
You nailed the key word, theory. Because look, these colleges and universities need to fix this. My question is, how long before they ultimately do? Because let's face it, in college, all you learn is theory. But when you go to welding school, Ken, you don't learn about the theory of welding. You learn how to weld so that when you come out, you can weld. How much longer can colleges keep this up?
Well, what's happening is they're getting their lunch eaten by some of these new micro colleges that are coming out, and they're going to learn real quick. You know, you can go into cybersecurity now, get a full degree in 12 to 18 months for about 12 grand. And when you come out of that 18 months, you're looking at jobs paying between $80,000 to $100,000 a year. And why is that? Because the founders realized that they were hiring these 4 and 6 year degreed people who couldn't turn a wrench, they couldn't turn a screw. And so there's, you know, where supply is low and demand is high, you're going to find someone to fill that void. So you're seeing these micro colleges that are emerging now, where you're having people spend that entire time actually doing the work that they're going to be called upon to do.
And quickly, Ken, aren't these issues being exacerbated even further by the fact that so many entry-level jobs over the last 2 to 3 years are being replaced entirely by AI?
Well, that's true. And not only that, but now you're seeing tech companies, even like Microsoft and Apple, they're hiring 40% of their people without even having a college degree. And why is that? Because they want to teach them what they want them to know, not what some theoretical professor wants somebody to learn.
That is a huge number. And that's a major company that typically only hired people from Harvard, MIT, and the like. That's a groundbreaking statement that you just made. Ken, thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Definitely very interesting video. Very interesting, right? So this fear is not coming out of nowhere, right? The recent post shows that 93% of college students believe that their education prepared them well for the job market, but only 54% of the employers agree. That's a huge disconnect. So the truth is, a lot of universities are struggling to keep up with how fast technology is accelerating. Tuition is sky high for many people, and the return on investment just isn't there anymore. Look, I'm not saying that college has no value, okay? But it can be incredibly useful, right? It can be incredibly useful. It just depends, right? It depends on a lot of things. I won't get into that. But we're not living in the 1980s or 90s anymore, where getting a degree almost automatically got you a good job. Today, you need practical job-ready skills. You need apprenticeships, internships, real-world experience. You have to go beyond the classroom, building projects, learning tools hands-on, just to be marketable and competitive in this new economy. So the big question, should we trust the so-called experts and establishment telling us that we shouldn't be afraid of AI and everything is going to be okay? Because not too long ago, Donald Trump campaigned on American First and promising to protect American workers. So there was an interview that stuck with me with Trump. And it was an interview that Trump did with Fox News, and he was being interviewed by Laura Ingraham. And definitely, let's just take a look at that, and I'm going to give you my initial thoughts.
Country like what we have right now.
And does that
the
mean
Republicans have to talk about it, Laura.
And does that mean the H-1B visa thing will not be a big priority for your administration? Because if you want to raise wages for American workers, you can't flood the country with tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of foreign workers.
You also do have to bring in talent. When
we have plenty of talented people here.
No, you don't.
We don't have talented people here?
No, you don't have. You don't have certain talents, and people have to learn. You can't take people off an unemployment line and say, I'm going to put you into a factory where we're going to make missiles, or I'm going to put you.
How did we ever do it before?
Well,
I'll
give you an example. In Georgia, they raided because they wanted illegal immigrants out. They had people from South Korea that made
Hyundai.
batteries all their lives. You know, making batteries are very complicated. It's not an easy thing and very dangerous. A lot of explosions, a lot of problems. They had like 500 or 600 people, early stages, to make batteries and to teach people how to do it. Well, they wanted them to get out of the country. You're going to need that, Laura. I mean, I know you and I disagree on this. You can't just say a country's coming in, going to invest $10 billion to build a plant, and going to take people off an unemployment line who haven't worked in 5 years, and they're going to start making missiles. It doesn't work that way.
All right, let's talk about this. I'm going to be completely honest here. I think this is one of the biggest L's from Trump, among other things, Epstein files. But I digress. Let's just focus on the topic at hand here. So the argument that Trump was making here is that we need top global talent right now, especially when it comes to advanced technical work. While we're building these massive AI and manufacturing projects, we need to outsource our talent because it's not available here in America. We can't just grab someone from the unemployment line who hasn't been working for 5 years, place them on the job site, and expect that person to perform the job proficiently. Fair. That is a fair argument if that is the truth. But let's assume that is the case. I would like for him to say, we are working on training American workers. Now, to the Trump administration's credit, they did mention that after this interview because this interview did not sit well with the general public. Also, Trump is been tightening the H-1B rules. In September 2025, Trump signed a presidential proclamation adding a $100,000 fee on many new H-1B petitions for workers coming from outside the U.S. They also shifted to a wage-weighted lottery that favors a higher-paid, higher-skilled workers and propose raising a prevailing wage requirements. So, is the administration just giving up on training Americans? Well, not according to their own official document. To bring this back to the main topic of discussion of AI, in March 2026, the White House has released the National Policy Framework for Artificial Intelligence, their legislative recommendations to Congress. It's a pro-innovation, pro-American dominance plan that includes strong protections for children and parents against AI risk. So the document is a very quick read, a lot of good recommendations here. I'm going to list out some of my favorites here. So one of my favorites here is the Ratepayer Protection Pledge, so AI data centers don't spike your electricity bills, support for creators and intellectual property, a firm stance against government censorship of AI, and also building an AI-ready workforce through schools, apprenticeships, and studying how AI is changing jobs. So this single national AI framework, instead of it a chaotic patchwork of state laws, while still respecting state rights of things like child protection and zoning, the long-term plan in the Trump administration policy framework is very clear. Train Americans, protect workers, and make United States the undisputed leader in AI. Hopefully, the Trump administration, Congress, Democrats, and everyone in government takes this seriously and moves fast. Here's the honest truth. AI is going to change jobs dramatically. Let me repeat myself again. AI is going to change jobs dramatically. Automation is often more efficient than humans on many tasks. Companies are racing to emphasize AI and robotics, and a lot of them are not being very transparent about it. And that's deceiving the American public, especially right now in this tough economy where families are trying to find decent jobs and some real job security. We need more transparency from these companies. But the big question for all of us, are we actually doing enough or fast enough to prepare the next generation? Well, from what I've seen, I don't think we are. I really don't. I don't think we are. You're going to have to go out of your way to learn these tools yourself. Let me repeat myself again. You're going to have to go out of your way to learn these tools yourself because most people and most institutions aren't going to hold your hand. We live in an extremely competitive job market where nobody wants to help you. They want to stay ahead and make the money. And unfortunately, that's the sense of the American unity that is fading. We don't look out for each other like we used to. Everybody's just racing to the top. So, what do you think from this video? Are the college graduates right to be worried? Is the policy framework enough? Do we need to do more as individuals and as a country? Drop your honest thoughts below. And thank you for watching, and always stay questioning. Take care and good luck out there.